Today, Arkansas became the first state to enact a law that bans gender-affirming treatments and surgery for transgender youth.
There are no restrictions if someone transitions to a man, but if they transition to a woman, they need to take hormone therapy for at least a year in order to be eligible to compete.
I believe that transgenders participating in women's sports will destroy women's sports.
Florida has become the latest state to ban transgender women and girls from playing on female sports teams in public schools.
These fears that trans women are a threat to women's sport are irrational fears of trans women, which is the dictionary definition of transphobia. And we need to call it what it is.
Caitlyn Jenner is coming under fire for remarks she made about transgender athletes.
A recent CBS News poll found 60% of Americans believe transgender student athletes should play on a team that matches their sex at birth.
You are trying to create...
What am I doing but trying to defend women's rights from a grotesquely unfair situation where people born to male biological bodies who have an obvious superior strength and power are now being able to simply say, I'm female, and compete against women born to female bodies.
So we can start with your name and pronouns.
So my name is Taylor Austin. My pronouns are she, her, hers.
My name is Simon, and I use he, they pronouns.
My name is Liz Fulmer, and I go by she, her.
My name is Sophie Shirey. My pronouns are she, her, hers.
So I'm Andrew. I've always kind of gone by he, him, but like I'm open to like whatever pronouns. Yeah.
So when the issue came up at Hempfield, how did you feel about that? What was the reaction from your students, if there was one?
Sure. So initially, I was actually involved in a statewide effort because you probably know there's a ban sort of in the education committee. And so I had met with our local state representative. I met with him with my husband and my two children to talk to him about how detrimental that ban on trans athletes could be statewide. And that was just a couple weeks before I found out what was going on at Hempfield. And so I found out about it because one of my friends on Facebook always watches the meetings and sort of posts a running commentary, and it just came up in her feed that the way I was initially told about it was there was a student who was concerned about another student on her sports team. That's initially what I was told.
But when that ruling, like when all that was going down at Hempfield, like it just broke my heart for one more thing and one more place where kids who already feel marginalized and already feel like not welcome, even in their own bodies, that they're being just pushed out even further and made the target of a lot of vitriol and hate, and to be talked about in this really public way. That's painful. And so the pastoral part of me felt very compelled to, want to care for them.
I mean, I understand the issue because I understand a lot of people don't understand it, which is unreasonable. They don't understand the whole idea of transgenderism because it's scary, because it makes you question everything you ever thought you believed. And people don't like that. People like being comfortable in their bubbles. And once that bubble is popped, these people freak out. So they resort to doing what they did this summer, or harassing a 16-year-old just because the kid wants to run.
This specifically, we're talking about kids. We're talking about kids, and we know what happens when kids feel connected and safe at school, when they feel a sense of belonging to school. They do better. So anything that messes with that, anything that tries to keep them away or separated or different, it's just setting all of those kids up to feel not just not safe, but no sense of belonging and withdrawal. And we know what happens when kids feel withdrawn from school. Everything bad. Everything bad. And so I think as educators, as a community, we talk about it takes a village to raise a child. And it's not just about the people in the school system, it's about the community as well. And the community has to start to look inward and say, what don't I understand? What's really making me uncomfortable? Why am I uncomfortable with this? What is actually making me uncomfortable?
Transgender athletes, they're athletes like every other athlete. And I think that's an important thing because athletes have dedicated themselves to playing a sport. Hopefully they've done it for the right reasons because they really like it. And if they're practicing and they're dedicating themselves, most likely they're going to be pretty good at it too. So I think it's important to note that whenever someone dedicates themselves to anything, but especially to a competitive sport, it's something that becomes a part of them. And to take that away just because of who they are is really wrong. And not only wrong, but it really is going to affect their mental health because you've basically taken away an important piece of how they identify themselves and an important area of their goals and their collective achievements. So you really yank that out from under them, and it's of course going to cause an identity crisis. It's going to take them away from a community that they really relied on and that they need. And it's something that we really should never do.
My love for the sport dwindled tremendously, and I spent countless nights debating why I'm even participating in a sport if it's not going to be fair. It makes the girls' hard work seem pointless. Going up to the line and finishing my race knowing I had no shot made me consider never running another race again.
You can go against anybody at any given time and they can be better, they can be taller, stronger, have more money to go to camps, clinics. So there is literally countless amounts of inadversities between teams and players and themselves. So like it's impossible to create a fair atmosphere to play in. So, but that's how games are played. Like that's what makes sports fun. It's not fun to play the even playing field. Like you want to play up. You want to play against the people that are going to make you the bigger, stronger person at the end of the day. You don't want to just keep playing teams that don't push you, don't like challenge you. That's not how any great athlete is made.
As far as I am concerned, everyone's health and safety, mental health and life, all of those things are more important than the quote-unquote fairness in sports, which the whole community seemed not to care about at all when boys' sports are funded more than girls' sports. And so to me, it really felt like a false issue and really just an assault on trans rights. And I think we all know by now that an assault on trans rights can lead to a higher rate of suicidality. And so to me, it's really a no-brainer.
Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's paying attention because I think we're all going to want to listen to what I have to say. I graduated this school in 2017, and I did not in a million years expect to reflect on the place I went to school with such resentment, disappointment, and shame. For a school that my whole life has preached inclusivity to the student body, that is all you did. The amount of students that have slipped through the cracks under your watch is shameful.
But he said to me, these people are lunatics. You know, they're talking about, you know, their rights over masks and their rights to win a race. It's not your right to win a race. That's not a right. But it is a right to be treated as a human being. And now they're treating this child as a spectacle. They dehumanize this person because they just didn't want to be what everybody was telling them to be. And you know, you can't explain to these people that it has nothing to do with, you know, what you're born with. It has everything to do with who you are.
I mean, all I really gotta say is it's stupid that we have to be having a conversation about this when it should just be, we're humans. And that's where we draw the line. Like, why does there have to be a category for every single thing? Let people be who they wanna be. Let them participate in what they wanna participate in. If it's not hurting anybody else, why the hell is it your problem?
It's okay for youth to feel nervous, and it's okay if you're somebody that has always kind of felt uncomfortable or against or maybe not informed when it comes to the trans community. But I've found in my experience, trans people and trans kids need the same things as everybody else, to be loved and accepted and have ways to find success. And it's okay to be afraid of the unknown, but it's not okay to hurt people or be harmful to people because of that. And so be comfortable with being uncomfortable, whether you're a youth or whether you're somebody that wants to learn about the community, because we all thrive and we all coexist, and we're stronger the more diverse that we are.